I know we're a small group, but the microphone is mostly for the video recording, so we can get good audio on that. So hopefully this doesn't get too much stuff. Welcome everyone for the innovation seminar. Coming in, if you're just coming in, we're only 1 minute over, so right about time to start. How's everyone doing? Good? Rainy day, lots of things happening. Any of you going to the career fair or have been there already? Yeah, some of you? I know it's kind of busy with everything happening at the same time, so I'm glad you were able to make it for the session this morning. And just a few announcements before we get started. We have, today's seminar, October 7th. And then after that, there would be 5 other seminars between now and, in between the pitch competition. So the next seminar, November 4, compelling value proposition and product market fit. November 18, creating a minimal viable product. February 3, MVP validation. February 24, marketing strategy and revenue model. March 10, crafting a pitch. All right, so just wanted to give you the big picture of what all the seminars that we're doing to help continue to help you develop your business, your nonprofit. And today, of course, we're going to focus on customer discovery. Upcoming events. For this Thursday, we have the open mic event called Startup Lab Nights. We have a bakery started by an alum, and they're gonna bring some sweets. So come join us. I heard they're really good, so we'll see. And then we have a couple of students talking about their business, and one business and one nonprofit. One of them is here, Paul, over there in the back. He's gonna talk about his business on Thursday. His business idea. And then Marvin is not here, but he is going to also talk on Thursday about his ministry. He runs some ministries in Papua New Guinea. So come, this is Thursday at 7 p.m. Campus Center Leadership Lab. That's the classroom, near the entrance where the Student Life office is, right next to it. It's open to anyone, 7 to 8 p.m. We got some desserts, some sweets you can enjoy. And the purpose is just to learn what other students are doing, to talk, to network, to connect, continue to build community together. And for those of you who are on the either incubator or accelerator, maybe you already saw this on social media or through the newsletter, but we have the Innovative Student Seed Fund application open right now until October 17. And this is for incubator accelerator members that need access to, kind of like a small seed amount, a small seed fund. Maybe you need to register your company. Maybe you want to purchase a URL, get access to specialized software. Whatever the case is, anything related to your business, your ministry that you need, up to $500 if you're in the incubator, up to $1,000 if you're in the accelerator. Okay, and apply through that QR code, and you're just gonna tell us what you're gonna spend the money on, how much, all that stuff, and then if you complete the application, most likely you will get approval. Hopefully, you don't run out of money too quickly, but it should be enough for almost everyone who applies and completes the application. Okay, any questions on the announcements? If not, we'll dive right into the seminar this morning. And last seminar, this is what we did last seminar. For those of you who weren't here, or if you were, so give you a refresher, the Lean Canvas business model. And we actually went through the whole process of completing this whole Lean Canvas. And there is a section in particular that we're going to focus on today, and that is that last box called customer segments. And who is your customer? How do you find out who is your customer? How can you figure that out? And if you are wrong, what does that mean? How does that affect you? All right, so I would say that's one of the most important things you need to figure out when you're starting any type of organization. If it's a nonprofit, maybe you don't think of them as customers necessarily. Maybe you're thinking of them more as users, beneficiaries, whatever term you want to give them. But in the end, it's all the same, right? They have a need or they have a problem, and then you're there to supply that product or service. So that's really the importance around that. So it doesn't change with that. So what we're gonna talk about today is identifying pain points, personas, which is what this handout is for, and then interviewing best practices. Okay, interviewing best practices. So let's get started. Pain points. What are pain points? Pain points are frustrations, unmet needs, or challenges your customer experiences. Some categories of that are financial, productivity, process or usability, or support and service. So can anyone give me an example of a financial pain point that people have that you think that a business maybe is helping them with? What would be a financial pain point? Any thoughts?
Startup money.
Startup money, there you go. If that's a financial pain point, right? And how do we solve that pain point? Oh, we create a seed fund, right? That's one way. Or as a startup, maybe you can fundraise, or you look for investors. That's the solution, right? But the pain point is startup money. What would be another financial pain point? I don't have enough money for X, for Y. Or this is too expensive, I can't afford to buy a house. That's a financial pain point, right? Lack of affordability. You may come up with a solution. So there are many things. It could be other types of pain points. Maybe this is uncomfortable, this is annoying, this is frustrating, right? So think of all the things that frustrate you throughout your day or your life, and that's a pain point. And people identify those all the time, right, in their lives. It could be health related, right? It could be related to just your day-to-day life, energy, housing, education, clothing, whatever, right? There are many areas that people experience, and there's not necessarily a solution for that yet, but maybe that's where you come in. I'm gonna pick on you, Valerie, for a moment, just because I know what you're working on. But you have lip balm, right? And we talked when we met. We talked about what is the pain point, right? What is the problem that you're solving? So everyone who met with me one-on-one, we said, what is the problem that you're solving? And you mentioned, well, some people may want it, but at the same time, some people might want not just to put a chapstick on because maybe they're more interested in appearance and looking good. So there you go. That's a lip balm, and that's kind of the problem she identified. And is that a pain point that a lot of other people have? We don't know, right? I mean, that's the whole point. That's why she's not a billionaire, because we don't know that yet, right? And we are developing that process. And similarly to all of you who are maybe developing a business or a nonprofit, you think there is a pain point first, you make a hypothesis, and then you go find out if that's true. So how do you identify pain points? I was just talking about this, but the other ways here it can be through customer interviews, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Observation, online feedback. You can read about Reddit groups, Facebook groups, or surveys. It could be just observation. I think that's probably 90% of what we do in terms of identifying pain points. You see other people, your own life. You may identify it with your friends. A family member might tell you an idea or a pain point they have, something annoying, something frustrating to them. Okay, so now let's do a brief reflection so that we can hammer this down a little bit better. So you can use this piece of paper on the back side for writing. But let's do a reflection activity. You'll have about 5 minutes or so. Essentially, let's think for a moment about what is inconvenient, slow, confusing, or costly about the current solution. So for those of you who are developing a business and that you're working through that process, let's focus on that. So what is inconvenient, slow, confusing, or costly about the current solution? So think about how people, your customers, your clients, how they trying to solve the problem right now. And what is inconvenient about that solution right now? Okay, so you can write that down. Another way to think about this is what prevents customers from achieving their goal easily or effectively? What makes customers frustrated, overwhelmed, or annoyed? What is a moment that makes customers think there has to be a better way? If a customer could wave a magic wand, what would be different about this task, product, or situation? Okay, so think about the problem you're trying to solve, and now reflect on what exactly is the frustration, the inconvenience that people are experiencing with that problem, and that's it. You don't have to describe the solution right now, but just think about what is the inconvenience. So I'll give you a couple of minutes, maybe write a few thoughts there on the paper. Okay, so all these are reflection questions, right? You don't have to answer all of them. These are just questions to help you reflect. What is it that my customer is frustrated with? Or what is the issue, at large? Okay. A couple of people that want to share their thoughts. I'll look from someone on this side and someone on this side. Start over here. I saw a lot of busy writing utensils on this side. Anyone wants to share what is the frustration? What is the inconvenience? What is so bad about the current solution that you have identified, you have thought about? Maybe we'll start on this side. Someone wants to share. Don't be shy. Everyone's looking at each other. I'll pick on someone and then no one wants to share. Terry in the back.
No, you go. Okay. I just as I've been thinking about, we've been working on somewhat the just like it could be just like the lack of information that I want to share with them. I feel like I want to share with them.
Okay.
That I think they're, but I could be wrong. But when I'm feeling like I think they're probably a big point that they're probably is that they're experiencing that. I think they're experiencing is the lack of information.
Thank you, Terry. And to give you all of you context, what Terry is working on is more or less a financial literacy program for people from low-income communities, right? And what he thinks that the issue is, the pain point is lack of information, right? Thank you. Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Okay, someone else. Pain points, frustrations. What is it that your customer might be feeling? Yes.
For my particular solution though, there's a couple problems that I could see people having. One of them is that the cost for development of tools and resources that could be used for development standards of, like for instance, television, movies, video games, things like this. A lot of things are costly, and spending time and resources and getting investors involved with projects really slows things down, and it really kills the creativity for students.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So, cost of production, I guess you're talking about, more or less media. You're focusing more on that type of issues. Okay. So another pain point. All right. Very good. So hopefully you're understanding what we're talking about. If you're not, please raise your hand and ask a question. But you're trying to identify frustrations. Why is this so important? Because that's where you come in, right? That's where you come in. If that person does not have a frustration, then why would they look at you as a solution? Right? Then they're not your customer, because they're not frustrated about the problem you're trying to solve. Right? And not everyone's going to be your customer. Right? So just think about it that way. And I'd like to compare it to vitamins versus pain medication, right? So are you selling vitamins or are you selling pain medication? If you're selling pain medication, that means I'm hurting and you're selling me the pain medication, I'm gonna buy it, right? That's a pretty simple decision for me to make. But if you're selling vitamins, I'm like, well, do I need them? Do I not need them? Right? I mean, then am I really frustrated with enough to make that purchase, to go to you for a solution? If not, then you need to identify what is really the core pain point that I have. Maybe I do need those vitamins, but there's another underlying solution that you need to sell me on. Does that make sense? Right, so you need to really understand what is the pain point that your customer has. Okay? So now that you understand pain points a little bit, now let's talk about customer personas or customer segments. So what are customer personas? And you can look at now this handout that we have here. A customer persona is, they're fictional. You know, it's like a fictional character that you can build to try to describe who your customer is. So it has summary of key traits, needs, behaviors, and the traits, the needs, and behaviors you're gonna assign to this customer persona, those are real. As far as you know, those are real. Those are real traits. But you create a persona in order to sort of summarize sort of this group into one persona, right? If you could create a person, a fictional person that is your customer, who are they, where do they live, and what are their pain points, and what do they care about? Are they 20 years old or are they 60 years old? Do they go to school? Do they not go to school? Do they drive a car? Do they use public transportation, right? So who is this person that is potentially your customer? So that's what a customer persona is. And why do we care, about customer personas? Is really to help us understand the people whom you're solving for, not just the problem you are solving, right? So in the past we talked about what is the problem, what is the problem. Now you're shifting that into who are you solving the problem for. It can help you prioritize features of your product or service, and it can help make customer needs realistic and testable. All right, so let's talk about this template here. If you look at some of the sections there, you have name, so you can assign this person a name, age, occupation, location. You can create a bio for that person, drivers, which means what motivates them. You can even create a quote. So to say something that they would say, and pain points. So let's look at an example to make this more easier to understand. So this customer persona example number 1, Miles Carter, age 34, marketing manager in Austin, Texas. Miles is a busy young professional who is also a dedicated runner. Health and fitness are key parts of his identity. Miles cares about what he puts in his body and is concerned about artificial ingredients and excess sugar. Very simple bio. What are some of his drivers, his motivations? Is faster recoveries to stay consistent with training, staying hydrated, especially in Texas heat, choosing healthy products, convenience. So those are his drivers, those are his motivations. Now his pain points are different. His pain points are mainstream drinks are too sugary and have artificial ingredients. And struggles to find clean alternatives that are effective. And just to have a quote about what Miles would say, he says, I'm running to stay healthy, I don't want a drink that holds me back. So can you picture a person based on this? Hopefully you can, right? I mean, now you have this idea of this fictional character and said, oh, okay, so this is what Miles cares about. Do I have a product for Miles? Do I have a service that could solve those pain points? If I don't, then he's not my customer. But if I do, then this is a great example of a customer persona that I can use to understand my customer more in depth. So let's look at a second example. This is Grace Kim, age 58, retired teacher, Asheville, North Carolina. Grace spends several hours most days tending to her garden. She grows her own produce and values a healthy, sustainable, and self-reliant lifestyle. The work of gardening often tires her, and she finds that water alone doesn't always replenish her energy. Her drivers are staying hydrated while working outdoors, choosing natural, clean label products, alignment and with healthy, eco-conscious lifestyle. And her pain points are, does not want sugar, sports drinks with artificial colors or flavors, finds that water alone is not enough after long gardening days, does not resonate with products branded for hardcore fitness. And I won't read the quote, but you can see it there. Now, these two people, Miles and Grace, potentially they're both your customers. They're both potentially your customers, but they're different. They have different needs and slightly different pain points, but they're both interested in healthier hydration and alternatives, right? So if your product is a healthy or health-conscious hydration drink, then both of these personas could describe who your customer is. Okay? So again, this helps us understand who is your customer, and it helps you put it into a more specific description. Okay, any questions on personas? So you have a piece of paper here in front of you. I want you to create 2 hypothetical personas. If you only have time to do one today, maybe you can do the second one at home. But each persona should represent a distinct need or context, right? So it could be like the examples we use. One is a runner, the other one is a gardener. So it's a different need, but the solution could be the same drink that you're trying to sell them. And use insights about customer pain points to develop each persona. So what we did before, writing, the pain points, now can help you create this persona around this pain point. And again, this is fictional, but it should be rooted in what you know, what you have observed about your potential customer. Right? The character is fictional, but it should be based on what you already know about people that are or could be your customer. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I'll give you a couple of minutes then to work on this, and then we'll share we'll share a little bit, then we'll continue on. Okay, I like all all the creativity that is flowing. We're gonna keep moving just because in the interest of time. Also, we won't have time for you to share what you've been writing, but it looks like everyone's getting the assignment and is working on this. Just for laugh, did you guys name your persona? Yeah. Did you come up with exotic names or just kind of like John Smith? Yeah. All right. Nothing too exotic, right? All right. So looks like everyone did something. That's good. You're thinking about it. You can complete this at home. Just because we want to give you the last part of the seminar, which is sort of the important part that we want you to take home and to do. Okay, so there's gonna be some homework actually. Some things I want you guys to do. Don't worry, we're not gonna grade it, so you don't have to bring it back. But this is what you're gonna do next. You're going to go find this person that you have just described, and you're gonna interview them and find out if they are truly what you thought they would be. Okay? So interviewing, you're gonna interview target personas. So think about people that sort of fit that description. It's not gonna be exact. I'd say, okay, then you're gonna go talk to them and to help validate assumptions about pain points and customer segments. Do they really have the problem you thought they have? Do they really care? Because maybe they do have the problem, but do they care? So that's also important. And you're gonna use interviews to discover and learn as well. So things to do during an interview and not to do. I see some of you are taking pictures of that. I won't go through all of them, but just in general, when you go interview a customer, your goal is to listen, to learn about what is it that that frustrates them, what is their problem, and don't try to sell them something. And you're not even gonna talk about your solution in this interview. Don't even tell them like, oh, by the way, I'm creating this thing. What do you think? That's not the purpose. The purpose is to validate the problem, the pain points, and say, do you really, is this really a problem you're experiencing? Because the moment you talk about your solution, then the focus shifts, and you're no longer thinking and talking about them, as people. Use open-ended questions, etc. Right? So these are some general things. We're going to look at a couple examples. One important thing here that is mentioned: use the 5 whys to probe root causes. What does that mean? It means that you are asking why multiple times. So they recommend 5 times. Maybe you don't need 5 times, but it's just like a general rule of thumb. But essentially, once you identify the problem that they are talking about, then you ask why. And then you ask why again, and you just keep digging deeper, and we'll see an example here in a moment. So here is a sample conversation. Tell me about the last time you grabbed a sports drink. Yeah, that was after my run on Saturday. I stopped at the gas station and picked up a Gatorade. How do you decide on that? Honestly, it was just what was there. I wasn't super excited about it. Okay, I wasn't super excited about it. That's a problem. So once you hear the customer mention a problem, then you ask, why weren't you excited about it? It's just kind of sugary. I don't really feel great after drinking it. You could stop there and say, this customer does not like sugar drinks. But you could dig deeper and say, why do you think that matters to you? Okay? Because I'm trying to stay healthy overall. I'm running to get fitter, and drinking something sugary feels like it cancels that out. So why do you still buy it then? Because I needed something. Water felt like not enough, and there wasn't anything else on the shelf that seemed better. Why do you feel like water wasn't enough in that moment? When I run longer distances, I feel drained. Water doesn't help with that. Like, I need something to replace what I lost. Right? So the multiple why questions just allow you to keep digging deeper into what are the other issues this person has. You could have just said, oh, yeah, people don't like sugary sports drinks. Okay, well, they could drink water, right? So if you don't dig deeper, you don't know why they're not drinking water. And what are some pain points identified? Lack of healthier, effective, convenient recovery options. Okay? And healthier, that means not too much sugar. Effective, that means water is not enough for them. Convenient means it's available at the gas station store. Recovery options, right? So this pain point deals with everything that the customer said it was a problem for them. It's not just healthier, it's not just effective, but it's also convenient. Because if your solution is healthy and effective, but it's not convenient, then they're not gonna find it at their closest grocery store or gas station store. That means that they're not gonna buy it, right? If they have to buy it, if the process of purchasing is very difficult for them, then they're just gonna buy whatever is available at the gas station. You guys understand what I'm saying? So it has to meet all the pain points. If only meets a few of them, then they're not gonna be as willing to become your customer or to go to you for a product or service. Another sample conversation with a customer. Tell me about the last time you ordered takeout for dinner. Yeah, it was a couple of nights ago. I ordered from this new Thai place online. How was that experience? Honestly, pretty frustrating. The ordering website kept crashing. You could stop there and say, oh, if I make a better website, then I'm gonna get all these customers. Because I already told you the problem. Or you could keep asking why. Why was that frustrating for you? Because I had already picked everything I wanted and then I had to start over twice. Again, you could stop there or you could dig deeper. Why do you think having to start over was such a pain? Because if you really want to buy this food, you're gonna do it multiple times, but this person is complaining about it and say, well, because I was hungry and I just wanted to get it done quickly. That makes sense. Why was speed so important in that moment? Because I just got enough work, was tired, and didn't want to cook. Okay? Why didn't you consider just cooking something simple instead? Honestly, cooking feels like another chore. At the end of the day, I wanted convenience more than anything, right? So look how the interviewer is finding more and more pain points as you ask why over and over and over. So again, need for convenience, low effort solutions, and reliability. Again, it could be low effort and reliable, but maybe it's not convenient, right? So the combination of all those pain points together completes the solution. And the only way to find out is by talking to people. So what is your aim? So we said our next seminar is, let's see, we got it here at the beginning, is November 4th, so in about a month. We have some time here. So what is it that you should be doing in the next month now that you understand pain points, customer personas, and how to find out if those pain points are true? Then you can interview at least 10 people who fit the description of one of your personas and use these interviews to clarify, edit, or validate your identified pain points and personas. Okay? Sounds simple. It's not really that easy, to go and talk to people. You probably don't have a lot of free time as a student. But if you're serious about finding a solution for a customer, then you need to go talk to your customer. Okay? Any questions on the homework, quote unquote? What happens if you don't do the homework? Then you will not know your customer as well as you need to know them. That's really it. I mean, we're not gonna grade you, give you credit for a class or anything else. It's really about you wanting to develop deep personal understanding of the people that you plan to serve or sell to or work with. Okay, so if you find out that you can only interview 3 people because you run out of time, that's good. That's good. You know, don't sell yourself short. That's better than before when you hadn't talked to anyone about this. If you have time to do 10, you're gonna experience a much deeper understanding of your customer. If you only have time for 5, then do 5. The people who develop these theories, these techniques, they recommend 50 to 100 interviews, right? But of course, that will require you to probably have a team of people working together, because that will take a long time. But you know, the more you do, the better you understand the customer, and the better you're going to be able to serve them, right? Or to develop a solution that is truly for them. Okay? All right. So that is all in terms of the seminar. We have, yeah, we're good on time, so let's move into co-curricular attendance, those of you who need it. And after you are done with co-curricular, remember Thursday at 7 p.m. at Campus Center. Join us for the open mic event. Any other events, David, that we need to talk about? I don't think, nothing else this week.
Nothing else, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just
Thank you.
subscribe to our Instagram. If you have Instagram and you haven't followed us yet, please go and follow us on Andrews Innovation. That way you can stay up to date with all the events that are coming up. And we're going to be doing some cool things on that Instagram page as well. So.
Awesome, okay. If you have questions, you can come to David or myself. If not, thank you for coming. Have a good rest of your day. Go to the career fair if you haven't. Go get a job.
Where's that at? The career fair?
It's in the gym.
What's the gym?
The career fair, yeah, the address in Washington. Yeah.
Your